Okay, so tonight we're talking about proportions. All right, remember in class we said that a proportion is two equal ratios. Okay, so we might give you a ratio of 3 to 7. All right, and then we need to set that equal to another ratio such as 12 to 28. All right, so that would be two equal ratios. And again, if you're looking for a check or a proof, all right, how can we tell that this is a real proportion and that Mr. Wolf didn't just throw those equal signs in there? All right, remember, we can check our cross products. Okay, 7 times 12 equals 84. All right, 3 times 28 equals 84. So both cross products are 84, the same, so that way we know that this is a proportion and those two ratios are equal to each other. Okay. Now, the catch is though, all right, just like we talked about in class today, you're not going to always be given all four values. We're usually going to leave one out. Okay, so for example, if we're given this value here, this proportion here, okay, we have an unknown, all right, and anytime we have an unknown, your job's to figure it out. Okay, so using what we talked about in class, we said step number 1, you're going to cross multiply. All right, so when we look at this proportion, these are the only two numbers we could cross multiply. So we're going to do 7 times 12. Step number 2, we're going to divide. So we're going to cross multiply 7 by 2, and then we're going to divide by the remaining value. So in this case, the remaining value is 30. Okay, so 7 times 12 divided by 30, so that would be 84 divided by 30. Have no idea. Oh, I picked a nice one. 2.8. Okay, so our missing value for this proportion is 2.8. All right, so anytime you have a proportion with a missing value, our guidelines are to cross multiply, divide by the remaining value, okay, and that will give you your missing piece. And that's the nice thing about proportions. Doesn't matter. X over 7 equals 12 over 30. If this is the missing piece, same steps. All right. If this is the missing piece, same two steps. That's the missing piece, same two steps. Okay, so regardless of which proportion you get, okay, we can always cross multiply the two numbers. And then you're going to use division with the remaining term. That should always work for you. Okay? Now, knowing that, we have to be ready for story problems as well. Okay, we're not always going to give you a nice little proportion setup. So we got to be ready for some story problems. So if we just take a second to look at a few of them down here. Okay, Jasmine bought 32 kiwi fruit for 16 bucks. How many kiwi can Lisa buy if she has $4? All right, so we want to set up a proportion. So we should take and set up our first ratio. All right, our first ratio, we should be picking a couple numbers that are related somehow. Okay, these two numbers are related. $16, 32 kiwi. All right, that can be our start. The next number we have is $4, so we have to decide $4 on top, $4 on bottom, and the only thing we can do is be consistent. If we're going to put money on top, then we put our $4 on top there. That's the missing piece. That's the missing piece. Okay, so now we would follow our guidelines. 32 times 4. We're going to cross multiply, and then we're going to divide by 16. 128 divided by 16. Sometimes I wish I had a calculator. I think that's 8. All right, so x equals 8. So for this particular question, she can buy 8 kiwi. Okay. Again, not the only proportion you could use. You know, some of you may choose those two numbers to go together. $4 goes with $16. They're both money. Okay, so if we want to set those up together, that's fine. Now we have to figure out where the 32 lines up. 32 line up with the 4, doesn't line up with the 16. Lines up with the 16. Okay. We could set up this proportion. Notice 32 times 4, exactly the same thing we did down here. Different proportion, same result. Okay, so whatever guidelines you want to follow as far as building your proportion, you can do so. All right, as long as you can get a relationship here, you should be okay. 4 bulbs of elephant garlic for $8. How many can you buy with $32? Couple of values that go together. Give me a ratio. 4 bulbs, $8. Okay, $32. We put money on the bottom. Got to put money on the bottom. There you go. Solve your proportion. Okay, so the story problems you're going to see tonight, same idea. You just have to build the proportion, and then you can solve them. Bring all your questions to class tomorrow. Have a good night.